Hello, everyone. It's Erica Henderson, and this is my week 3 multimedia presentation on this week's reading by Chester Barnard, The Informal Organizations and Their Relation to Formal Organizations. This article is a chapter in Barnard's work, The Functions of the Executive, published in 1938, and discusses the existence of informal organizations that are within and built from formal organizations, and how the two exist and coexist in reaction to one another. Barnard saw organizations as cooperative systems where managers or executives, their main function was to maintain a balance or an equilibrium between the needs of the organization and the needs of the employee. Barnard saw formal organizations as two or more people working together or toward a system of consciously coordinated activities, a set of rules or policies designed to carry out the organization's purposes, to work through hierarchical channels to basically get what needed to be done. Within these formal organizations or informal social groups, that are personal contacts and interactions between workers that aren't governed by rules or policies, but more so by common interests, or even dislikes. Barnard goes on to say that nearly all social interactions do become formal interactions with time, with the frequency in which you hang out or which you associate with one another. Our society is built on these informal social interactions. Society is formed by formal organizations that are built from those. Formal organizations are vitalized and conditioned by informal organizations, and that one cannot be without the other. That is very much a chicken and egg scenario where society and formal organizations are bred from these informal groups and interests, and then when the organization is formalized, then within the organizations, informal organizations spawn. What some of the earlier theorists miss out on, and later with theorists such as Barnard is touched on, is the human aspect of management. With Taylor, it was all about efficiency, but with Barnard, it's more of the human aspect, those informal connections that we make on a daily basis that lead our decision making process. Whether it's in school, growing up, when we decide to join, band or associated student body with like-minded people, our inspirations and aspirations drive us to interact with people of like-mindedness. It's the same in the workplace. When you're in the same place every day with the same people, you're going to cling to or integrate to people of like-mindedness. And those groups that we form are our informal organizations within our formal organizations. One aspect that I found especially intriguing of this article was Barnard's assertion that without the outlet for activity involving associations, that many unemployed people feel lost. Many people in this situation feel that they don't have that answer, and that the importance of established patterns of activity, how important that is for human nature. I know that I definitely felt that way when I was out of work, when I just finished graduating with my undergrad. I moved home and I didn't know what was next, and I did feel that feeling of being lost and not having those daily social interactions with my peers. one of the weaknesses with Barnard's theory comes when the informal organization has more influence over the formal organization. Problems can ensue. I have a real life example of this. Last year, in my first year as an asset protection manager, we had our biannual profitability assessment. One of the informal groups or organizations within my organization was our asset protection managers. We have a group text that we send out, help each other out if anything happens. We send each other a text message. When this particular text message chain, one of the managers was letting us know that she had her PA and that nothing that the district manager said was going to be on it was actually the regional vice president of asset protection wasn't checking any of that. So she said it was unfair and that, we should do these other things to be prepared. So when it came to be my turn, I took her advice. I checked on the certain things that she gave me a heads up on that he would be checking. And this is a quantitative assessment. He gives us a number, 1 to 10 at the end, how we're doing, what our score was. And I did not score very well. I missed a few points focusing on what my peers told me rather than focusing on what my district manager told me that it was going to be focused on. Needless to say, my informal organization had more authority over me at that point, over my decisions, and at that point I made the wrong call. But that's kind of the issue with this. When you do have informal organizations building within formal organizations, it's where's that line drawn where one is more preferable than the other. Thank you for listening to this presentation. All of the information was gathered from the Classics book by the article from Chester Barnard entitled Informal Organizations and the Relation to Formal Organizations, as well as the introduction article. Again, thank you for listening.